Woof.
So this is a DevBlog that came out on December 7th about new ships, closed test 12.0. And this is talking about the Pan American Cruiser branch. So we're going to get the full renders of them now and see what they really look like. And also a new American Tier 9 battleship, Illinois, and oh dear Lord, mother of all things, unholy Turducken. That is your Turducken boat of all time right there. We'll talk about that when we get there. Apparently there have been a few warships that have been whoring around with each other, so we'll get there. So the Tech Tree branch of American or Pan American light cruisers will be added to the game for upcoming closed test session. Now, interestingly, I have to check in a minute. I tried to go into the Tech Tree on the game today, and it did not show the Pan American line, so I assume that they have it pulled off in order to add these ships to it. I guess, I don't know, but it wasn't there. So in any case, so the features of the branch: good rate of fire, weak armor, small HP pool, repair party that restores 50% of citadel damage starting at tier 2. Is that a misprint? Is that a misprint? Do they mean like tier 6? Was that supposed to be tier? I wonder if that's a misprint. I don't know. We'll find out. Access to hydro from tier 4 and up. From tier 4, the ships are equipped with torps with average characteristics, last ditch, self-defense if enemy comes too close. So it sounds like these are going to be 4 to 6 kilometers, maybe even up to 8 when you get to the high tiers. I don't know. We'll see. Availability of a fighter beginning at tier 5. Tiers 6, 8, and 9, and 10 will have the option to replace it with a spotter. It's interesting. No tier 7. The tier 7 ship does not have a fighter or a spotter. Why? Why do we do weird stuff like that? If you're going to give a flavor, why do you always make one tier weird? Anyway, from tier 6, the ships have flat ballistics that make, so we're going to have something closer to Russian railguns here. And there's a choice between hydro and defensive AA. Okay, well, you take hydro because AA is a myth. Also from tier 6, the ships can use combat instructions. Oh dear, this is popping up again. Mechanically, they work similarly to the combat instructions available with super ships, but they have different requirements and bonuses. Ships of tier 7 and up also have the repair party consumable, which restores more HP per second. Okay. All right. So this is a typo up here. Now that I read this, ships of tier 7 and up have a repair party, and this says a repair party that restores 50% of citadel damage starting at tier 2. This was supposed to be VII, not II. So that makes sense now. Okay, that's what I believe is correct. In order to activate combat instructions, the Pan American cruisers need to fire off a certain number of salvos, in which a specific number of shells must hit the target. I hope they mean like a minimum amount. So they're saying, as an example, tier 10 cruiser San Martin needs to fire 5 salvos to activate combat instruction, but it will only activate if 8 of the shells fired in those 5 salvos hit the target. Does that mean exactly 8 or at least 8? Okay. Please note that in order for a salvo to count towards combat instructions, you need to use volley fire, double click, sequential fire. Ain't gonna work. It's not going to happen. So you got to double click. So what happens if it screws up and accidentally? I mean, then you get screwed. So that's going to be interesting to work around. Once activated, combat instructions provides the cruisers with a temporary bonus to armor pin of HE and the ship's maneuverability, such as maximum speed, acceleration, and rudder shift time. Wow. If you activate combat instructions on San Martin with a commander who has learned the skill IFHE, you will be able to penetrate 50 millimeters of armor. I have to see what kind of guns that has on there. I'm assuming they're like 152s, if I remember. The conditions for activating combat instructions are more challenging than for super ships, but at the same time, they provide quite a significant bonus to the ship's characteristics. Okay. And here are some of the ships again. We can see the pictures. Here's the Tier 1 Hercules. Here's the Tier 2 Almirante Barroso. Nice. Here's the Tier 3 Vicente Guerrero. That's pretty modern looking for a Tier 3. That superstructure's very modern looking. Interesting. And we've already talked about this in the past. We've already talked about the total BS with which these ships were picked, so we're really not going to revisit that this time. We're just going to go over the ship's appearance and in stats and see what it looks like. Here's the Tier 4 Cordoba. Nice. Nice. Here is the Tier 5 La Argentina. Going up to triple turrets here. The Tier 6 Almirante Cochrane. Look at the amount of nose on this thing. Holy cow. At Tier 6. Good lordy. This looks definitely looks very Italian in the guns, or Italian or French. So interesting. Guns are set very close together. Pan American cruiser Coronel Bolognesi. Yep, we already know what this looks like, so I don't need to say a whole lot more. And here we go. Here we go. Here comes some of the Turducken ships. The Tier 8 Ignacio Allende. Yep. Yeah, boy. Those are definitely some familiar turrets right there. Definitely some familiar turrets. Definitely Worcester turrets. Then Tier 9. Holy freakamoly. This is the Santander. Look at the schnoz on this thing. Good Lord. 40% of the ship is in front of the front gun. Holy crap. That's crazy looking. And now we go up to these triple Worcester turrets. Holy. Triple Worcester turrets. Isn't that lovely? And then lastly, the Tier 10, the San Martin, were again triple Worcester turret. Well, actually, there's a triple and a double. That's interesting. I guess we got triple, double, triple, double. But you notice, look at if you can see both these at the same time, look at the difference in the amount of schnoz on these things. This Tier 9 is, man, that thing is ridiculous amount of nose. Wow. Okay. Let's look at, let's smoke over some of these ship characteristics real quickly. The Tier 1, we're not going to really spend a lot of time. 6,300 hit points, 8.8 range. You don't do, I mean, it's a Tier 1. Not much to say there. Tier 2, you're up to 15,000 health, 6 guns here with 152s. That's pretty strong at Tier 2, I would think. 10-kilometer range. Okay, yeah. Repair party. No, yeah. So that's correct. Tier 3. At the Tier 3 level, you're at 19,600 with 6 152s, 12-kilometer range, 7-second reload. Interesting. 25 knot speed, really good turning radius and rudder shift time. Tier 3. What's to say? There's your repair party. Again. Tier 4 Cordoba. You're up to 20,000 hit points. 6 152s. Now with with an 8.5 second reload? Wait a minute. The Tier 3 has 6 152s with a 7-second reload. So what's the difference here other than probably the range? 12.1? Same range as the Tier 3. you just get like 900 more, 1100 more hit points. I'm not sure about the purpose of that. Worst DPM at tier 4. Is this where you start getting torpedo tubes though? Yeah, you start getting torpedo tubes and a much better speed. You're up to 29 knots now. You get these torpedo tubes. Yeah, they're 6 kilometer. So at a light cruiser, you don't want to try to get close enough to use those unless you're just, you know, a legend. Let's go up to tier 5. Here's Argentina. We're up to 23,900 on the health. Now you're up to 9 152s. Your range is coming up. Your reload now goes up to 9.5. So you're not getting a big increase in DPM from tier to tier, at least going 3, 4, and 5. You got torps that hit pretty hard to 8 kilometer range, so you're getting up there. Wasn't noticing the conceal on these. Where's the concealment? 9.5 conceal. 9.5 at tier 5. So that's what, like 8.5, 8.6 conceal. If you outfit the captain, that's pretty good. Now we're up to tier 6. We're up to 30,000 health, 30,700. Now we're up to 8 guns. Now our velocity is up to 850, whereas before, what was our velocity before? 841. So I don't know. We're up to 850 though. That's pretty good. You got a 7% fire chance, which is not the best for 152s. What else we got? Yeah, we got the combat instructions, which start at tier 6 apparently. 20% pin, 10% speed for 60 seconds. Wow. And according to this says number of hits per salvo. So this is saying you got to have 5 hits per salvo on your, what's this thing got, 8 guns? You got to have 5 hits per salvo. Okay. That's going to be a little bit difficult to activate, I would think, unless you get closer. Okay. 34.8 knot speed. So these things are getting pretty fast at this point. Detectability 9.9. Going to get you down to about 8.9. That's pretty good. Tier 7, the Coronel Bolognesi, you're at 31,400 health. 3x3 152s, 50.4 kilometer range, 9% fire chance, so that's improving. 8-second reload. Okay, not too bad. What else do we have? 8 kilometer torps. 31.5 knot speed, not quite as fast. 11.2 conceal, which will get down at least to 10.1, 10 or 10.1, somewhere down in there. Still not bad, but you're not going to be stealth torping it too easily. Now we're up to tier 8. Yeah, here's your specialized repair team at tier 7, which you don't have at tier 7. Yep, that's the one that we were talking about. So good. You get 3 charges of that. Now up to tier 8, the Ignacio Allende, 38,600 health. Got 8 guns with a 15.9 kilometer range, 915 meter per second. So we're getting the rail guns ramped up pretty well by tier 8. 11% fire chance. So we got fire chance and rail guns. 8-second reload. So not too bad. What else can we look at here? I'm not even going to talk about AA, as we know AA is a myth. Same thing, specialized repair team. You can take hydro or defensive AA, fighter or spotter. So nice. Now let's go up to tier 9, the Santander. He of the gigantic schnoz, 44,300 health. Probably about at least 15,000 of that is in the nose. But still got 9 guns, 16.2 kilometer range, 915 meter per second, 11% fire chance, 8-second reload. Not bad. 33 knots. Nothing new here. Fighter, spotter, hydro, defensive AA, specialized repair, and a damage control. And then at tier 10, the San Martin, you got 49,800 health. 49,800 health. Tier 10. Let me see something. I want to go back up to the top here, all the way to the top, where they're talking about these cruisers. Good rate of fire, weak armor, and a small supply of hit points. Small supply of hit points. I want to see what a small supply of hit points looks like. Cruisers. All right, health. So we already know some of these are like the big boys here, but you're talking about, let's see here. You're talking about, where is this? Here we go, right here. 49,800. And according to Ship Tool ST, that would put you right here with Salem. That's not a small amount of hit points. Yeah, it's a little below the mid-range of tier 10, but no, I would think you would need to be down closer to around 35 to 40,000, you know, maybe even 45, like in the Worcester area, but you're at 49,800. So yeah, it's not as high as a lot of the other cruisers, but not quite what I call a small hit point pool. I would call it a below average, but I would not call it a small hit point pool. So yeah, okay, there's that. What else do we have? Now we have 2x2 and 2x3. Yeah, so we've got 10 guns with a 6-second reload. 152s, 11% fire. What's the range? 17 kilometer range. And 915 meter per second arcs. So wow. This is going to be a slightly less DPM Worcester with railguns, basically. What else we have going on? And that's really about it. 34 knot speed. What's our surface detectability? 11.3. That's going to be somewhere around about 10.2-ish. Actually, no. Wouldn't that be less than that? Because if you take the captain and the boat skill, that's going to take you down to about 10.2, and then that's going to take you down to about 9.2. So you're going to be down in the low 9s. That's, yeah, you're going to have a pretty good concealment in these things. What about the torpedoes? Your torps are now up to 10.5, so you can stealth torp in this thing if I'm interpreting this right. So holy crap. Okay, well that's your new Pan American cruiser line. But now we want to talk about the unholy mother of Turducken ships, the Tier 9 American battleship Illinois. So listen to this, folks. Listen to this crap. Hey there, Bogey One. So a variant of an Iowa-class battleship, which is re-equipped with more powerful AA and 203 millimeter main battery guns and quadruple turrets. It looks like it's got 3, so it must have 12 of these, 3 quadruple turrets. Has the highest rate of fire among battleships at the cost of its smaller gun caliber. So this is 203 millimeter guns. So yeah, you know what these are. These are Des Moines guns. We're going to see what the fire rate of them is. I bet it's not as good as a Des Moines, but still. So you got 12 Des Moines guns. Improved ricochet angles for AP shells. Most effective medium range, can prove itself in close combat due to secondary armament with improved accuracy. Can gain quite high speed but poor maneuverability. Powerful AA defense. We'll see about that. And an improved repair party. Okay. And then they're talking about the naming convention. So over the years, okay, so they're talking about the battleship Illinois was ordered in 1940, became the 5th penultimate ship of the Iowa class, but the laying down construction was constantly delayed until at 22% readiness. Further construction was canceled in 1945. It was excluded from the Navy Register, but the hull remained on the slipway until 1958. Over the years that have passed from ordering to scrapping, several completion plans with a rework were proposed, and her sister ship, who suffered the same fate, BB-66 Kentucky. First, it was proposed to convert them into aircraft carriers. Illinois was almost volunteered to serve as a target ship for nuclear tests, a nuclear weapons test, holy crap. And BB-66, which was in a higher degree of readiness, was considered for completion as an anti-aircraft battleship and later as a guided missile ship. It seemed interesting to us at World of Warships to create an Iowa-class battleship with 203 main battery guns. In 1946, it was even proposed to develop a new 4-gun turret with the same 203 millimeter Mark 16 guns as Des Moines-class cruisers had. In the process of actual design, it turned out this automated turret system required large internal alterations of the ship, which have been more convenient to do with Illinois since she was only barely a fifth of the way completed. Now, so what this means, sorry for hitting the mic there, I'm kind of excited about this Turducken ship here. I've used this term on some of these new ships that Warships putting out, where it looks like 2 or 3 ships got together in a some type of clandestine orgy or something, and kind of had an offspring, and it was like an amalgamation of them. Well, basically what this means is that the Des Moines decided that she wanted the big boy Iowa and poured around with him, and the result was this thing. Basically an Iowa with Des Moines guns, with 12 Des Moines guns. So let's look at the ship characteristics of this thing and see what we got. So 81,000 health, not the best torpedo protection. That's pretty standard. All right, 12 203s with an 18.5 kilometer range. Okay, that's about like what you would have if you use the range mod on the Des Moines, roughly. 2,800 and 5,000. It's got the heavy AP. Reload time 10 seconds. So you've got reloads not quite twice what the standard reload of Des Moines is. I think Des Moines 5.5 on standard. So you're not quite twice. But you've got what? You've got 33% more guns, but you've got about what? 45 or 6% more reload. Very interesting. Dispersion, that's battleship dispersion, and Sigma's 1.8. So dispersion in Sigma, it's not cruiser. So that's a potential issue there. You got airstrike. Your secondaries, it's 7 kilometers secondaries. That's pretty standard, but it sounds like they've got the improved accuracy. So you just basically got the 2127s. Nothing new there. And then it's kind of typical Iowa, 32 knot speed, not the best rudder shift. Surface detectability, 15.9. So that's going to go down to what, about 14.3, which would go down to about 12.9-ish. 12.9, 13, somewhere around that neighborhood. Wow. I just don't know what to say about this. You know, they're not pretending like there was a big chance. They're just saying we're imagining this. And you know what? I'll give them that. They're not trying to make up bullshit from a standpoint of trying to say, oh yeah, they were really thinking about doing this. They're just saying, you know, well, we had this situation where we had these Iowa-class battleships that were never completed, and there were proposals to do different stuff. So they're saying, well, you know, they were proposing a 4-turret 203 gun. So what if this happened? I'll give them a what if. And, you know, I actually have to say this seems a little interesting. It's weird, but it's weird in an interesting sort of way. It'll be interesting to see what this thing's like in practice when it comes out. So, but yeah, this is now my mother of all Turducken ships that Warships has created. They They must have had a relatively potent batch of vodka go through the design department that day. That's all I can say, because holy cow. Tier 9 Illinois. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens whenever that hits the game. But that is the end of the December 7th DevBlog. We have Illinois that we just talked about. We have all of these Pan-Asian ships. We now have their detailed stats here and the detailed models. The art department, awesome as always. Interesting stuff. So that's it for that one. Now, we're not done, because we got another one to go to. Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to see notifications of future videos, just ring the bell. Until next time, Tater Dawg says, woof.